Hi guys, welcome to Believe It or Not channel. I am Partho Sardikar, PhD student in Bangladesh Agriculture University. My PhD title was Productivity and Profitability of Baby-corn legume intercropping system under selected chorland of Sherpur district. There were 3 experiments conducted during the last 3 years. Data were collected at different growing stage in every year, and data were also analyzed by Statistic 10 and R software. From the analyzed data, we got some findings, and eventually we have been able to draw a conclusion. Now I want to deliver my piece on the results of my experiment. In this regard, I have prepared a presentation. So, welcome to my presentation. Thank you.
Hi, this is Believe It or Not channel. Welcome to my presentation. My title is Productivity and Profitability of Baby-corn legume intercropping system in the chorland of Sherpur district. Hi, I am Partho Sardikar, PhD Fellow, Department of Agronomy, Bangladesh Agriculture University, Mymensingh. Supervisory Committee. My supervisor is Professor Dr. Mohammad Rasidur Rahman, Professor, Department of Agronomy, PU, Mymensingh. Co-supervisor, Professor Dr. Muhammad Khairul Hassan. Member, Professor Dr. Muhammad Ahmed Abdul Qadir. Outline of the presentation: introduction, objective, materials and methods, result and discussion, conclusion, recommendation. Introduction. There is 0.82 million hectare chorland in Bangladesh. The soil in chorland is mostly sandy in texture with low soil moisture holding capacity. The soil are also very low in organic matter and low in general fertility. Chorland area of Sherpur Sadar is 18,350 hectare under the AEZ 8 and AEZ 9. AEZ mean agroecological zone. Introduction. The yield of chorland is very low compared to those in other regions of the country. Some lands remain fallow during Rabi season due to irrigation problem. Agricultural productivity in the chor region is low due to low soil fertility, low water holding capacity, nutrient mining, drought, and the limited ability of the farmers. Major constant of crop production in chorland: natural hazards such as drought, uncertain flood, duration of flood, scarcity of irrigation facility, unavailability of fertilizer and field machinery, less knowledge about modern agriculture and irrigation, shortage of agricultural labor, high price and scarcity of quality seeds, transportation and communication, cumbersome procedure of getting loan, poor texture soil, low water holding capacity, and low soil fertility are the major constant of agriculture to achieve satisfactory yield. The major cropping pattern of chorland is fallow, boro rice, tea almond rice. Here almond rice is risky for flash flood and boro rice production is not profitable due to excessive irrigation cost. People are compelled to cultivate boro rice for fodder and their food security. Baby-corn is a short duration crop which can be grown as cash crop. Water requirement of baby-corn is very low than rice. In intercropping, 2 or more crops are grown in the same pace at the same time, where total productivity is increased and resources such as land, labor and input are utilized judiciously. Baby-corn is cultivated with wide spacing So there is a great opportunity to grow short duration intercrops, especially different legumes in the interface. Baby corn is used as vegetable and salad. It is also used for soup preparation. It is in great demand in Chinese restaurants. Women are also advised to eat this vegetable as it is a rich source of folic acid, which is important during pregnancy. Baby corn controls cholesterol and anemia. As baby corn is harvested when the plants are in green, a lot of young plants can be used as fodder for cattle. Green fodder can be stored through silage for 3 to 5 months. It will fulfill the fodder demand of the chore dwellers. Choreland is most unfertile. Leguminous crop can fix atmospheric nitrogen and release into soil and enrich the soil fertility. On the other hand, legumes reduce soil erosion, suppress weed, reduce pests and disease, and improve the efficiency of land use. Keeping all these points in mind, the present study has been undertaken. Research objective, general objective to assess the feasibility of growing baby corn legumes intercropping system in chore land and finding out its profitability. Specific objectives to find out the suitable combination and row arrangement of baby corn with legumes in chore land ecosystem as intercrop. To calculate profitability of baby corn legume intercropping system. To optimize nutrient such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium and sulfur requirements for different baby corn legume intercropping system. To find out the effect of different source of nutrients on productivity and soil quality of baby corn legume intercropping system. Year-wise research activities. Number 1, dissertation proposal seminar, first year, that means 2019. Performance of different legumes, crops and baby corn grown as intercrop. To optimize nutrient and pKs requirement or different baby corn legume intercropping system by omission plot technique. Efficacy and economics of integrated nutrient management in baby corn legume intercropping system. Data comparison, statistic analysis, thesis writing and final seminar. All activities are designed as different years that were shown in the slide. Description of the experimental site. The experiment was conducted in the Brahmaputra chore land of Shepur district. This site belonged to the old Brahmaputra flatland soil of agricultural zone. The major cropping pattern of chore land is fallow boro rice, tea almond rice. Performance of different legumes crops and baby corn as intercrops. First experiment. This is first experiment. First experiment name. I again repeat, mention it. Performance of different leguminous crop and baby corn grown as intercrop. Objective to find out the suitable combination and row arrangement of baby corn with legumes in chore land ecosystem. To calculate profitability of baby corn legume intercropping system. Methodology. There were 17 treatments were set up in the first experiment. These were sole crop, T1 baby corn, T2 chickpea, T3 pea, T4 groundnut, T5 lentil, and intercrops T6 baby corn chickpea 2:1, baby corn pea 2:1, baby corn groundnut 2:1, baby corn lentil 2:1, baby corn chickpea 2:2, baby corn pea 2:2, baby corn groundnut 2:2, baby corn lentil 2:2, baby corn chickpea 2:3, baby corn pea 2:3, baby corn groundnut 2:3, baby corn lentil 2:3. Methodology. Design RCBD design, that means randomized complete block design. Treatment 17, plot size 5 meter by 3 meters. Replication 3, total plots 51. Season Rabi 2018 to 19 year. Location Chorland in Sherpur district. Data collection for baby corn. Pre-harvest studies, plant height, total diameter at 20, 40, 60, 80 days after sowing. Stem diameter at harvest, number of days of tasseling, number of days of silking. For baby corn, post-harvest studies, days to harvest initiation, days to harvest completion, harvest duration, number of cob per plant, bareness, cob length with and without husk, cob guard with and without husk, weight of cob with without husk, cob yield with and without husk, husk baby corn ratio, green fodder yield. For legumes, pre-harvest studies, plant height, total diameter. Post-harvest studies, number of branches per plant, number of pot per plant, number of seed per pot, number of seed per plant, weight of 100 seeds, seed yield, stover yield, biological yield, harvest index. Data of economic performance, total cost production, gross return, rate return, benefit cost ratio, PCR, land equivalent ratio, income equivalent ratio. Result and discussion. Plant height. You can see that from the graph, plant height T1, that means sole crop, was significantly high in different days. At the 80 days after sowing, T1 is significantly highest and lowest plant height of baby corn was found in T15. Diameter weight of baby corn. From the graph we can see that at 80 days after sowing, highest diameter of baby corn was found in T1 and lowest diameter of baby corn was found in T15. Effect of intergrouping of number of days to tasseling, silking, number of cobs per plant of baby corn. From the table we can see that number of days of tasseling, the highest number of days of tasseling observed in T1 and lowest number of days of tasseling observed in T14, T15 and T17. Highest number of days of silking of baby corn was found in T1 and lowest number of days of baby corn or days of silking of baby corn observed in T14, T15 and T17. Number of cobs per plant, highest number of cobs per plant observed all the treatment except T15. Harvest initiation, highest number of days of harvest initiation observed in T1, lowest number of days of harvest initiation observed in T14, T15 and T17. Highest number of days of harvest completion observed in T1 and lowest number of days of harvest completion observed in T14, T15 and T17. Highest number of days of harvest duration observed in T1 and lowest days of harvest duration observed in rest of the treatment. Crop length with husk. From the graph we can see that highest crop length with husk of baby corn observed in T1 and lowest crop length with husk of the baby corn observed in T7. Highest crop length without husk of baby corn observed in T1 and lowest crop length with husk observed in T12. Crop guard with husk. Highest crop guard with husk observed in T1 and lowest crop depth with husk of the tin T12. Highest crop depth without husk of the beacon of the tin T1 and lowest crop depth without husk of the tin T15. Individual crop weight with husk. Highest individual crop weight with husk of the tin T1 and lowest individual crop weight with husk of the tin T11. Highest individual crop weight without husk of the tin T1 and lowest individual crop weight without husk of the beacon of the tin T9 and T11. Highest average fodder weight of the beacon of the tin T1 and lowest average fodder weight of the beacon of the tin T16. Crop yield with husk. Highest crop yield with husk of the tin T1 and lowest crop yield with husk of the beacon of the tin T15. Highest crop yield without husk of the beacon of the tin T1 and lowest crop yield without husk of the tin T15. Green fodder yield of the beacon. From the graph we can see that highest green fodder yield of the beacon of the T1 and lowest green fodder yield of the beacon of the T15. Economic analysis of the beacon intercropping system. From the table we can see that highest babycorn equivalent yield of the tin T7 and lowest babycorn equivalent yield of the beacon of the tin T2. Highest land equivalent ratio of the tin T17 and lowest land equivalent ratio of the tin T11. Income equivalent ratio. Highest income equivalent ratio of the tin T14 and lowest income equivalent ratio of the tin T8, T9, T10, T11, T12, T13. Highest net profit of the beacon of the tin T7 and lowest net profit of the beacon of the tin T15. Highest PCR benefit cost ratio of the tin T7 and lowest of the tin T15. Some pictorial demonstration of 17 treatment. This is babycorn, sol babycorn. This is sol chickpea. See, this is sol pea cultivation. This is sol ground pea cultivation, groundnut cultivation. This is sol lentil cultivation. This is babycorn chickpea 2:1 cultivation. This is babycorn pea 2:1 cultivation. This is babycorn groundnut 2:1 cultivation. This is babycorn lentil 2:1. This is babycorn chickpea 2:2. This is babycorn pea 2:2 cultivation. This is babycorn groundnut 2:2 cultivation. This is babycorn lentil 2:2 cultivation. This is babycorn chickpea 2:3. This is babycorn pea 2:3. This is babycorn groundnut 2:3, and this is babycorn lentil 2:3. Key findings from first year experiment. Among the 17 treatment, babycorn chickpea 2:1, babycorn pea 2:1, babycorn chickpea 2:3, and babycorn lentil 2:3 were found comparatively superior in terms of yield and economic return. Now, experiment 2, title Determination of Nutrient Requirements (NPKs) of different babycorn legume intercropping system. Objective: to optimize nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium and sulfur requirements for different babycorn legume intercropping system. Research methodology. Factor A: babycorn chickpea 2:1, babycorn pea 2:1, babycorn chickpea 2:3, babycorn lentil 2:3. The 4 treatments are selected on the basis of findings of first year experiment. Factor B: fertilizer management. That means N0 PKS, NP0KS, NPK0S, NPK F0 and PKS. Design split plot design. Replication 3, total plot 60. Equation according to Dobson, this equation are used to determine the essential nutrients in the specific plot. That means nitrogen. I explained one equation. Nitrogen equal to yield of NPKs minus yield of PKs by nitrogen use efficiency into amount of nitrogen per ton yield. And nitrogen use efficiency we analyze it, we determine, we select in the laboratory. Data recorded for baby corn tree harvest studies same as first year, such as plant height and total diameter, weight, 20, 40, 60 and 80 days after sowing, stem diameter of harvest, number of days of tasseling, number of days of silking. For baby corn post harvest studies, days to harvest initiation, days to harvest completion, harvest duration, number of crops per plant, bareness, copland with and without husk, crop guard with and without husk, weight of crop with and without husk, crop yield with and without husk, baby corn ratio, in fodder yield, baby corn equivalent yield. Result and discussion. Plant height of baby corn at 80 days after sowing. From the graph we can see that at 80 days after sowing, highest plant height of baby corn observed in F1 and lowest plant height of baby corn observed in F5. Diameter of baby corn at 80 days after sowing, we can see that highest plant height of baby corn was found in F1 and lowest plant diameter of baby corn observed in F5. Days to slaving, days to silking. From that graph we can see that highest number of days to tasseling was observed in F1 and lowest number of days to tasseling observed in F5. Highest days to tasseling of baby corn observed in F1 and lowest days to silking of baby corn observed in F5. Days to harvest initiation. From that graph we can see that highest days to harvest initiation observed in F1 and lowest days to harvest initiation observed in F5. Highest days to harvest completion observed in F1 and lowest days to harvest completion observed in F5. Highest days to harvest duration observed in F1 and lowest days to harvest duration observed in F5. Individual crop weight. From the graph individual crop weight. From the graph we can see that highest individual crop weight of baby corn observed in F1 and lowest individual crop weight of baby corn observed in highest individual crop weight of baby corn observed in F1 and lowest individual crop weight of baby corn observed in F1. Highest individual number of crop per plant observed in F5 and lowest crop number per plant observed in F2. Crop length with husk. Highest crop length with husk observed in F5 and lowest crop length with husk of baby corn observed in F1. Highest crop length without husk of baby corn observed in F5 and lowest crop length without husk observed in F1. Crop guard with husk. Highest crop guard with husk of baby corn observed in F1 and lowest crop guard with husk of baby corn observed in highest crop guard with husk of baby corn observed in F3 and lowest pop guard with Hux of the gene F1. Highest pop guard without Hux of the gene of the gene F5 and lowest pop guard without Hux of the gene F1. Pop yield with Hux of the beacon. Highest pop yield with Hux of the beacon object in T2 and lowest pop yield with Hux of the beacon object in T3. Highest pop yield without Hux of the beacon object in T2 and lowest pop yield without Hux of the T3. Highest green fodder yield of the T2 and lowest green fodder yield of the T3. Highest baby corn equivalent yield of the T2 and lowest green fodder yield baby corn equivalent yield of the T3. Pop yield with Hux, highest pop yield with Hux of the beacon of the team F1 and lowest pop yield with Hux of the beacon of the team F5. Highest pop yield without Hux of the beacon of the team F1 and lowest pop yield without Hux of the team F5. Highest green fodder yield of the beacon of the team F1 and lowest green fodder yield of the team highest green fodder yield of the beacon of the team F5 and lowest green fodder yield of the team F1. Highest baby corn equivalent yield of the team F5 and lowest green fodder yield of the team F1. Interaction of intercropping of baby fertilizer application of baby corn with and without Hux of baby corn of Hux fodder yield and baby corn equivalent yield. From the table you can see that highest pop yield with Hux of baby corn observed in interaction effect of T1 and T5 and interaction effect of T2 F5 and lowest pop yield with Hux of baby corn of the team interaction effect of T4 and F1. Pop yield without Hux, highest pop yield without Hux of baby corn observed in highest pop yield without Hux observed in interaction effect of T1 and F5 and interaction effect of T2 and F5 and lowest pop yield without Hux of the beacon of the team T3 and F1. Highest highest fodder yield of the beacon of the interaction effect of T1 F5 and interaction effect of T2 F5. Highest fodder yield of the beacon, lowest fodder yield of the beacon of the team interaction effect of T2 T3 F1. And baby corn equivalent yield, highest baby corn equivalent yield of the interaction effect of T1 F5 and lowest baby corn equivalent yield of the T4 F1. The calculated urea, TSP, MOP, gypsum dose in the locality for baby corn legume intercropping system. Nutrients urea, TSP, MOP, gypsum. RDF was 260 kg, 130 kg, 90 kg, 120 kg, and calculated doses were 404 kg, 192 kg, 45 kg, 229 kg. Recommended dose should be applied where calculated dose is lower than recommended dose. So my calculated dose should be selected 404 kg, 192 kg, 90 kg, 229 kg. Key findings: to get better yield from baby corn legume intercropping system, the recommended dose of urea, TSP, MOP, gypsum would be 403 kg, 192 kg, 90 kg, 229 kg per hectare, respectively for the study area of Chowland in Shetpur district. Some picture of second year experiment. This is nitrogen emission plot. This is phosphorus emission plot. This is potassium emission plot. This is sulfur emission plot, and this is NPK. That means all nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and sulfur applied plot. Some picture of the second experiment. And this is my second year experiment. Now we are going the third year experiment. Experiment 3, title Efficacy and Economics of Integrated Nutrient Management in Babycorn Legume Intercropping Systems. Objectives: to find out the effect of different sources of nutrients on productivity and profitability of babycorn legume intercropping system. To know the effect of integrated nutrient management of soil quality. Treatments. There are two factors in the third year treatment. Factor 1, intercropping system. Factor 2, integrated nutrient management. Factor A, intercropping system. There are three treatments: babycorn chickpea 2:1, babycorn pea 2:1, babycorn plantain 2:3. Treatments were selected on the basis on findings of second year experiment. And factor B, integrated nutrient management. These are 100% NPKs from chemical fertilizer, 2.5 ton cow dung plus remaining NPKs from chemical fertilizer, 5 ton cow dung plus remaining NPKs from chemical fertilizer, 2.5 ton poultry manure plus remaining NPKs from chemical fertilizer, 5 ton poultry manure and plus remaining NPKs from chemical fertilizer, 2.5 ton vermicompost plus remaining NPKs from chemical fertilizer, 5 ton vermicompost and plus remaining NPKs from chemical fertilizer. Data recorded. For babycorn pea harvest studies, plant height and total diameter at 20, 40, 60, 80 days after sowing, step diameter at harvest, number of days for tasseling, number of days for tasseling, number of days for silking. For post-harvest studies, days to harvest initiation, days to harvest completion, harvest division, number of crops per plant, bareness, crop plant with and without hug, crop cut with and without hug, weight of crop with and without hug, crop yield with and without hug, hug babycorn ratio, grain fodder yield, total cost production, gross return, rate return, benefit cost ratio, babycorn equivalent yield. Plant height of babycorn. From the graph you can see that highest plant height of babycorn observed in F1 and lowest plant height of babycorn observed in F5. And from the legend we can see that F1 means 100% NPK from chemical fertilizer, and N5 means 5 ton poultry manure and plus remaining NPKs from chemical fertilizer. Diameter of the babycorn. From the graph we can see that highest diameter of babycorn observed in F1 and lowest diameter of babycorn observed in F7. Days to tasseling of babycorn. From the graph we can see that highest days to tasseling of babycorn observed in F3, F4, F5, F6, F7. And we can I request all the viewers, please F3, F4, F5, F6, all the fertilizer doses are mentioned in the legend. Please below the graph, please read this. I will not mention repeat it because my video will be long, so I shortly describe all the F1 short fertilizer short term and meaning you should seek the below from the graph. Thanks. Dear viewers, again I explained it. When I explain the presentation, when I conduct presentation, these treatments, either fertilizer or intercropping, these treatments I mentioned in short time, such as F1, F2, F3, F6, F7. So you may not understand from the short term, and you can see the meaning of F1 from the below of the graph. Since every time I explain the meaning of F1, that means 100% NPKs from chemical fertilizer for F1, F2 2.5 ton cow dung plus remaining NPKs from chemical fertilizer. I explained repeatedly. My video will be long and it may be boring for you, and I request you to clarify the meaning of short time. You should follow the note, the meaning of F1, F2, F3 and etc. etc. Thank you. Now I go the main section of my presentation. The highest dash to testing of baby corn of the tin F3, F4, F5, F6, F7, and lowest dash to testing of baby corn of the tin F1. Highest dash to seedling of baby corn of the tin F3, F4, F5, F6, F7, and lowest dash to seedling of baby corn of the tin F1. Dash to harvest initiation. Highest dash to harvest initiation observed in F3, F4, F5, F6, F7, and lowest dash to harvest initiation observed in F1. Highest dash to harvest completion observed in F3, F4, F5, F6, F7, and lowest dash to harvest completion observed in F1. Highest dash to harvest duration observed in F3, F4, F5, F6, F7, and lowest dash to harvest duration observed in F1. Now, top length with hugs of baby corn, top length with hugs of baby corn, highest top length with hugs of baby corn of the team F7, and lowest top length with hugs of the team F1. Highest top length with without hugs of baby corn of the team F5, and lowest top length without hugs of baby corn of the team F1. Top guard with and without hugs of baby corn was significantly affected by fertilizer management. Highest top guard with hugs of baby corn of the team F4, F5, F6, F7, and lowest top guard with hugs of baby corn of the team F1. Highest top guard without hugs of baby corn of the team F4, F5, F6, F7, and lowest top guard without hugs of baby corn of the team F1. Pop yield with hugs. Pop yield with hugs of baby corn are significantly affected by intercropping system. From the graph we can see that highest crop yield with hugs of baby corn of the team T2, and lowest crop yield with hugs of baby corn observed in T3. Highest crop yield without hugs of baby corn observed in T2, and lowest crop yield without hugs of baby corn observed in T3. Highest green fodder yield of baby corn observed in T2, and lowest green fodder yield of baby corn observed in T3. Crop yield with hugs without hugs of baby corn and green fodder yield of baby corn observed was significantly affected by nutrient management. From the graph we can see that highest crop yield with hugs of baby corn observed in T5, and lowest crop yield with hugs of baby corn observed in F1. Highest crop yield without hugs of baby corn observed in F5, and lowest crop yield without hugs of baby corn observed in F1. Highest green fodder yield of baby corn observed in F5, and lowest green fodder yield of baby corn observed in F1. Baby corn equivalent yield, gross income, net income, benefit cost ratio influenced by income system. Baby corn equivalent yield, highest baby corn equivalent yield observed in T2 and lowest baby corn yield observed in T3. Highest gross income of the baby corn observed in T2 and lowest gross income of baby corn observed in T3. Highest net profit observed in T3 and lowest net profit observed in T3. Highest BCR observed in T2 and lowest BCR observed in T3. Baby corn equivalent yield. Highest baby corn equivalent yield observed in F5 and lowest baby corn equivalent observed in F1. Highest gross income observed in F5 and lowest gross income observed in F1. Highest net profit observed in F5 and lowest net profit observed in F1. Highest BCR observed in F5 and lowest BCR observed in F7. Interaction effect of intercropping fertilizer management of baby corn equivalent yield, gross income, net profit, benefit cost ratio. From the table we can see that highest baby corn equivalent observed in interaction effect of T1 and F1 and lowest baby corn equivalent observed in interaction effect of T2 F5. Highest gross income was observed in interaction effect of T1 F1 and lowest gross income observed in interaction effect of T2 F5. Highest net profit observed in interaction effect of T2 F5 and lowest net profit observed in interaction effect of T3 F7. Highest BCR observed in T2 F5 and lowest BCR observed in interaction effect of T3 F7. Residual effect of intercropping management on soil organic matter. We know that organic matter has a residual effect on soil. How much effect the organic matter on the soil So we evaluate the soil organic matter by utilizing different nutrient source such as cow dung, vermicompost and poultry manure. We see that the organic matter percentage after harvest and we analyze the soil in the laboratory. We found that highest organic matter was found in F1. That means poultry matter, 5 ton poultry manure we applied in this soil. We found the highest organic matter, and lowest organic matter was found in F1. That means all the chemical nutrients, all the chemical fertilizer were applied in F1, and here we found the lowest organic matter. Nitrogen percentage, we found that the highest nitrogen content was found in F1, F5, and lowest nitrogen content was obtained in initial and also F1. Highest phosphor was found in F5 and lowest observed in F5 and initial. Highest potassium observed in F5 and lowest observed in F1. Highest sulfur observed in F5 and lowest observed in F1. Key findings: crop yield and fresh fodder yield of baby corn was significantly increased in integrated nutrition management. The maximum gross return obtained from F1, that means 5 ton poultry manure plus remaining and PKS from chemical fertilizer, which was slightly higher than F5, 5 ton vermicompost plus remaining and PKS from chemical fertilizer. But net profit of BCR were vastly higher in F5 than F7. The lowest net profit and BCR were observed in F5 and F6 due to maximum cost of vermicompost. The poultry manure is relatively a cheap source of both micronutrients such as NPK, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, and micronutrient sulfates such as copper, iron, manganese, boron, and can increase soil carbon and nitrogen content, soil porosity, enhance soil microbial activity. Conclusion: baby corn pea 2:1, baby corn chickpea 2:1, baby corn lentil 2:3, baby corn intercropping system had better performance compared to other intercropping system with higher values of BCR. Depending on response of soil indigenous nutrient element, it can be concluded that 403 kg, 492 kg, 90 kg and 292 kg per hectare area TSP, MOP and gypsum respectively should be applied to get better performance of baby corn legume intercropping system in the shoreland of Shepur district. The combined application of organic and inorganic fertilizers increase the yield of the baby corn legume intercropping system as well as have positive effect on soil quality. Recommendation: baby corn P 2:1, baby corn chickpea 2:1, baby corn lentil 2:3, baby corn intercropping system can be calculated in the shoreland of Shepur district. Calculated amount of nutrient NPKs should be used other than body recommended dose for selected shoreland of Shepur district. Nutrient from different source of should be applied instead of only chemical source. Further experiment should be performed in the other chore area of Bangladesh to draw a specific conclusion of baby corn legume intercropping system. Department of Agriculture Extension should be take initiative to encourage the local farmers to cultivate baby corn and create marketing channel for baby corn at the local level. Scenario of the experiment: field presentation, preparation by field. This is baby corn with herbs. My data collection. This is length of baby corn. This is diameter of baby corn with herbs. This is weight of baby corn. This is height of baby at the 40 days of plant height, 30 days of baby corn plant height. My supervisor committee visited my plot. My colleagues visited my plot and having tasted the baby corn and expressed it is good in taste. Thank you very much. Now I want to discuss the research result of the leguminous crop. From the graph we can say that the plant height of chickpea was significantly affected by intercropping system. From the graph we can say that highest plant height of chickpea observed in T10 and lowest plant height of chickpea observed in T3. And again, and this lesion T2 means sole chickpea cultivation, and T10 means baby corn chickpea 2:2. Highest diameter of chickpea was found in T2 and lowest diameter of chickpea observed in T14. Highest plant height of groundnut observed in T16 and lowest plant height of groundnut observed in T4. Highest diameter of the weight of the groundnut observed in T4 and lowest observed in T16. Highest plant height of P observed in T7 and lowest plant height of P observed in T3. Highest diameter weight of P observed in T3 and lowest diameter weight of P observed in T15. Highest plant height of lentil observed in T17 and lowest observed in T5. Highest diameter weight of lentil observed T5 and lowest observed in T17. Performance of yield of and yield contributing character of P. from the table we can see that number of branch per plant of P, highest number of all the table was all the data from the table was collected from the P cultivation, and different treatments such as T3, T7, T11, T50, and all the treatments details under the below of the table in this note here. T3 number of branch per plant of P, highest number of branch per plant observed in T7, and lowest number of branch per plant observed in T50. Highest number of pot per plant observed in T3 and T7, and lowest number of pot per plant of of P observed in T11 and T50. Highest number of seeds per pot observed in T3, and lowest number of seeds per pot observed in T50. Highest seed yield observed in T3 and lowest seed yield observed in T7. Highest stover yield observed in T3 and lowest stover yield observed in T7. Highest 1000 seed weight observed in T3 and lowest 100 seed weight observed in T50. Highest biological yield observed in T3 and lowest biological yield observed in T7. Highest harvest index observed in T3 and lowest harvest index observed in T11. Performance of yield and yield contributing character of groundnut. I again remember you that I always mention the short term of treatment, and the meaning of treatment you can see under the below of the table. Number of branch per plant for groundnut. The highest number of branch per plant of groundnut observed in T4, and lowest number of branch per plant of groundnut observed in T16. Highest number of pot per plant of groundnut observed in T4, and lowest number of pot per plant of groundnut observed in T16. Number of seeds per pot of groundnut observed in T4, and number of seeds per pot of groundnut of the T60. Number seed yield of groundnut, highest seed yield of groundnut of the T4 and lowest seed yield of groundnut of the T8. Stover yield, highest stover yield of groundnut of the T4 and lowest of the T8. 100,000 seeds weight, highest 100,000 seeds of the T4 and lowest observed in T16. Biological yield, highest biological yield of groundnut of the T4 and lowest biological yield of groundnut of the T12. Harvest index, highest harvest index observed in T12 and lowest observed in T16. Now we are the performance of yield and yield contributing character of lentil. From the table we can see that highest number of branch per plant of lentil was observed in T5 and lowest number of branch per plant observed in T17. Highest number of pot per plant observed in T5 and lowest number of pot per plant observed in T17. Number of seeds per pot of the T5 and number of seeds per pot of the highest number of seeds per pot of the T5 and lowest number of seeds per pot of the T7 seed yield, highest seed yield of lentil of the T5 and lowest seed yield of lentil of the T9. Highest stover yield of the T5 and lowest stover yield of the T9. Highest 1000 seed weight of the T5 and lowest 1000 seed weight of the T70. highest biological yield of the team T5 and lowest biological yield of the team T9. Highest harvest index of the team T17 and lowest harvest index of the team T5. Now we turn to the next performance, that is performance of yield and yield category characters of chickpea. Number of branch per plant, highest number of branch per plant of chickpea observed in T2 and lowest number of branch per plant observed in T14. Highest number of pod per plant observed in T2 and lowest number of pod per plant observed in T14. Highest number of seeds per pod observed in T2 and lowest number of seed per pod observed in T14. Highest seed yield observed in T2 and lowest seed yield observed in T6. Highest tuber yield observed in T2 and lowest tuber yield observed in T6. Highest 100 seed weight observed in T2 and lowest 1000 seed weight observed in T6. Highest biological yield observed in T2 and lowest biological yield observed in T6. Highest harvest index observed in T2 and lowest harvest index observed in T14.
Now, I want to discuss the significance of proposed PhD dissertation. What? My PhD dissertation title is Productivity and Profitability of Baby Corn Legume Intercropping System under Selected Chorland of Sherpur district. Intercropping is an agricultural practice of cultivating two or more crops in the same place at the same time, which aim to increase in total productivity per unit land area and judicious utilization of the resource such as land, labor and input. It is applied extensively for increasing crop production per unit area and time by utilizing limited resource with minimum risk of crop failure. Intercropping system is used to satisfy the needs of farmers for 4F such as food, fiber, fuel and forage, and also medicine, raw materials and cash. Generally, intercropping is practiced on small farms with few technologies, synthetic fertilizer and pesticides. Diversification of planting system is very much essential for meeting the essential global demands of food, enhancing food production with food security and conserving the natural resource. The goal of diversified agriculture production system is to succeed in production stability through improved crop production protection and increased productivity of and profit offered by several intercropping systems. Basically, intercropping is practiced for increasing total productivity per unit area, per unit time by proper utilization of land, resource and farming input including labor, insurance against failure of one or the other crops. There is adequate evidence that the total yield can be increased with intercropping than sole cropping. Realistic approach to increasing food production by means of intercropping, particularly where substantial contribution comes from small and marginal farmers, have been adopted in the developing countries. There is a limited land resource in Bangladesh. Bangladesh is located in the subtropical region, having a moderate intensity of sunlight for plant growth. So crop intensification can increase through intercropping by using effective and efficient utilization of natural resource. Intercropping an efficient, most economical system where crop intensification is increased in two dimensions, such as time and pace. Intercropping not only increase farm production but also improves resource use efficiency and economic standard of growth towards. Intercropping alleviate the diversified problem of farmers such as low farming income and high risks involved in the monocropping system. Different researchers found high land efficiency for number of different intercropping system. In intercropping system, numerous mechanisms are found such as temporal, spatial, and physiological complementaries in resource use among component crops by better use efficiency. As a result, intercrops can receive more nutrients, water, and light than sole crops. Intercrop yield may be potential and profitable in mixture component, differ in peak period of growth, resource and nutrients, routing depth of photosynthetic response to verifying light intensity. Maize is as well as baby corn. Maize as well as baby corn is one of the important staple food crops in the world. It is located near the wheat and rice terms of total area of the production, but quantitatively it contains the first position for the yield. Nowadays, maize becomes a potential crop in Bangladesh. The agro-climatic condition of Bangladesh is favorable for maize cultivation. Baby corn can be cultivated around the year except for rainy season. Water requirement in baby corn is less than rice. Pest infection and disease infection are less in this crop. Baby corn is short duration crop. It can be harvested within 90 days. Baby corn is harvested early while the stalks are still small and immature. So sometimes it's known as candle corn. Since baby corn is cultivated with white paste, so there is no scope to grow. There is a great scope to grow legumes as intercrop with baby corn, either in green manuring or yield with reducing its yield. And baby corn is used as vegetable and salad. It also as an integrated ingredient in chop supi, Chinese dish, soup, deep fried baby corn with meat, rice and other vegetable. It tastes as bit like regular corn but is lighter than much softer. Corn is considered as starchy vegetable because of its carbohydrate content, but baby corn has a makeup of non-starchy one. Baby corn is highly nutritive. It has several health benefits and can keep appetite in check. It's rich in protein, vitamin, iron, phosphorus, and great source of fiber. It is also rich in vitamin C, E, antioxidant, which work wonder for the hair and skin. Pregnant women also advised to eat this vegetable as it's a rich source of folic acid, which is important during pregnancy. Baby corn also control cholesterol, anemia. Most of the baby corn found in United States baby corn is canned and is imported from Asia. Baby corn is popular vegetable in USA, Europe and Southeast Asia. The demand for baby corn is rapidly increased urban areas in India. Baby corn can be effectively used as both nutritious vegetable as an export crop, either valuable foreign exchange. After harvest, the still young plant may be used as fodder for cattle. Legumes are plants that have growth on the roots called nodules that house certain nitrogen producing bacteria. The nitrogen release into the soil so the soil enrich and improve crop productivity. They can quickly cover the soil surface and reduce soil erosion, surface weed, fix atmosphere nitrogen, reduce pests and disease, and spread labor needs and improve efficiency, land use efficiency, and larger quantities of better quality organic matter inputs can be produced um, through intercropping with cereals that lead to greater productivity benefits compared the maize monocrop. Grain legumes are generally preferred to smallholder farmers in the trophic above green manures and cover crops because they ensure food security and improve diet and income. Crop compatibility in the important factor in terms of success of any intercropping system. So crops should be selected carefully for intercropping system on the basis of their mutual competition and benefit association. It is very much important to select compatible crops combination for the intercropping system so that crops can utilize growth resources such as solar energy, water, nutrients, pests, etc. per unit area and time. This can also improve the yield as well as keep the soil better physical, chemical and biological condition. Peppercorn is cultivated with widely spaced, so there is a great opportunity to grow short duration crop in the interface. Legume are common component of intercropping system, and it has often been assumed that the legumes may provide some nitrogen economy. The adaptability of legume with different cropping pattern and its ability to fix nitrogen create opportunity to sustain increased productivity. And it is stated that non-legumes are benefited for association of legumes. So total productivity can be increased by including legumes in the intercropping system. In intercropping system, legumes work as potential source of plant nutrients through nitrogen fixation that complement and supplement inorganic fertilizers. Maize grown is association with pea production 140% more maize equivalent yield than the sole crop maize, and the combination also produce higher land equivalent ratio and gross and net returns and was more numerant and than the sole maize. There is no specific site-specific nutrient management guideline in Bangladesh. Here, fertilizer recommendation for 30 ecological zone is available with little differentiation crop for the specific plot area on basis of available nutrient status that plot. However, farmers have their own conception about soil fertility and they change constantly, taking into consideration the factor and such as plot site location, previous fertilizer use, weed infestation, pest, build up, etc. Generally, the farmers know which area of yield is more productive than other areas. Accordingly, access nutrient needs for different parts of field with the trial and error experience, but most of the cases they apply excess and imbalanced fertilizer doses. As a result, soil quality and soil and fertility are degrading significantly day by day. However, sustainable egg farming system requires soil fertility such to maintain the level of that support satisfactory plant growth while minimizing nutrient loss to the environment. Plant nutrients such as NPK are often applied to plant to ensure economically viable grain yield large-scale cropping system. The use of site-specific nutrient management has been shown to be simple and effective way increase nitrogen use efficiency. Soil native fertility may effectively be determined by nutrient omission plot technique. Bangladesh is riverine country. There are almost 700 rivers including Tiberian running through the country, constituting the waterway to total length around 24,000 kilometers. All the land edges of the river are shoreline. As the incidence of floods and flash flood increasing in the shore area, the agriculture vulnerability of these areas also increases. Flood bring sand not sealed with them. Sand once deposit on the shore and causes the land become barren. Sand deposit reduce the soil moisture and degrade the soil system. As such, deposition increase the more cultivable land and rendering infertile. And areas under shore area estimated the soil in the shore mostly sandy in texture, low soil moisture holding capacity, low soil and the soil are also very low in organic matter, low general fertility. The yield of shoreland are very low compared to those and other region of the country. Crop productivity can be improved through the addition of chemical fertilizer. However, chemical fertilizer are expensive and generally out of reach of the poor farmers. On the other hand, it is not profitable at all. The major cropping pattern shoreland was fallow Boro rice, tree almond rice. Almond rice is risky for flood plots, but Boro rice is not profitable due to water scarcity. Nevertheless, people cultivate Boro rice for fodder and their food security. Baby corn is short duration crop which can be grown as cash crop. Water requirement of baby corn is low comparatively rice. Pest infestation and disease infection are less the crop, so production cost is low. It can be harvested within 90 days. Baby corn is harvested early while the stalk are still small and immature. As baby corn is harvested when the trees are in green, a lot of young plants may be used fodder for cattle. Green fodder can be stored through silage for 3 to 5 months. It will fulfill the fodder demand of the dwellers. Since baby corn is cultivated with white paste, so there is a scope to grow leguminous intercrop with baby corn, either green manuring or yield without reducing its yield. As a result, farmers will get two crops for small land and time. Since shoreland is almost unfertile, leguminous crop fix atmospheric nitrogen release into soil and the soil fertility. On the other hand, legumes reduce soil erosion, suppress weed, reduce pest and disease spread labor needs, and improve efficiency of land use. Above the all, there will be sustainable agriculture will be obtained in the shoreland region. Objective of this study to find out the feasibility of cultivating baby corn in the shoreland ecosystem intercrop with some legumes, to identify suitable row arrangement and legume in baby corn legume intercropping system, to examine the complementaries of baby corn legume intercropping system on productivity, to assess the impact of baby corn legume intercropping system on soil health, to calculate economic feasibility of baby corn legume intercropping system, to determine the exact fertilizer requirement of baby corn legume intercropping system in the specific shoreland area.